Hey people, it's Broken Puppet, and this is how to draw a Neo Traditional Lumberjack. Enjoy. Right people, how to draw a Neo Traditional Lumberjack. Now this one's going to be a bit more in depth than some of the other ones. This Neo Traditional is a bit more detailed, but it's always fun. To start off with, get yourself a circle shape, like so. Coming down from here roughly, sort of just bring a straight line. From here, bring that down. So it comes down, you know, past the circle. And from here, bring it back a line. And curve it up into the circle. So you can probably guess this is where roughly your nose is going to sit, the beard's going to sit, the face, the hat. Maybe it's closing that down here, but for now we're going to start off with, I'm going to start with the nose. The nose is always a good point to start with, but we've got to slowly build up the shape for it. So we've got this line, just going to bring a little line just next to it, come back a little bit, bring another line, but have this one coming slightly more downwards, so this one's like that, this one coming down just a slight, so just tilt the line a bit, a little circle at the bottom of that, and another circle about the same sort of size just next to it. Now this will give you the structure of the rough shape of the nose. So now we've got this, we can start putting in the shape of it. So I'm going to start off with the nose, the nostril. So you want to bring this curve around, like so. Once you get here, curve up, and curve back into it. So you see, you're creating loop into the little hole bit. So loop into that. Off the bottom of this, just a little bit underneath that, bring a line across. Come here, once you get to here, you want to make a little bit of a point, the bend of the nose. You're going to bend it up, and now it's a lumberjack, so I don't want a straight cut, so I don't want a dead straight nose. I want to bring this up, I want to make a little bridge, a little bend in the nose, just around here. Not too crazy. And then just come up and curve out a bit. And now where you got this nostril bit here, just bring the line up coming from here, just a little bit further up, across, curve around this circle, curve down, and then up into this nose. Now this will create your lower part of your nose. And when we've done this line here, you just want to bring this up, just reinforce it, not too much. Bring this up till it gets roughly where the bend is here. And we curved it off there, we're going to make a little kind of axis bit just off top of this. Now this one here, we want to bring this, but we want to curve this, so we're going to curve outwards and inwards. And that's it for now. We're not going to do this because where the eye's going to go, once the eye, we'll do the shading to link it up. So shall I do that eye first or this eye? Choices, choices, choices. I'll start with this eye, I think. So what you want, roughly where, if you're bringing like in a sort of, where you've got a circle shape, bring a line across that bridge and just gently curving down towards where the beard bit is. That shows you roughly where you want in this eye. So I'm going to curve just a little bit just above this line. Curve up to there. Now you got to remember, this is slightly at an angle, so this eye isn't going to be like the usual traditional way we do it. So up, curve, the bottom bit, bring this one kind of coming down, curve out, and then down again. Once you've done that, just bring in a little curve just to join up these two lines. Over the top of this one, we're going to create an eyelid. So we're going to copy this line, going up and around. Then once we get here, I'm just going to bring it down and join it. We want it to come a little bit further than this line though. If it's backwards, it won't look right because it's supposed to go over the eye. Bring a little curve just here. That'll create your pupil. And it's going to bring a little line just underneath. No major, just like that. And now we've got that, we're going to bring in this under eyelid. So where this curve comes off here, we're going to bring this, and you want to bring this all the way around, like so, and come back into this eyelid bit here. So this curves around, so you imagine you've got this big circle shape just here. Off this eyelid, where this curves down here, you want to bring this circle, you want to bring this around, curving to the front of the eye. And this is going to pretty much join up where this bit is, so that's why we didn't do this bit originally. So it's going to kind of come there, and we're going to have shading coming down here. Now for this bit, we're going to have the eyebrow. Now he's a lumberjack, so I want a nice big bushy eyebrow. So I'm going to have this following this line, going back, quite thick, and a little bit unkempt, like so. Now we've got that, get the second eye in. Now it's generally the same kind of principle. Bring that top line bit, create that upper eyelid, so just create that line over the top, come a little bit further, that line down, connecting here. But where we get this bit, I'm going to bring this line underneath, like a little curve. We have our second bit coming off of that. So the main difference is this bit here kind of creates an overlap at the edge, which determines the shape of this cheek. Now coming up here, and have this curve around into a nice kind of oval sort of shape, so it kind of connects around it. Have your eyebrow kind of curving off of it and sort of shaping it downwards. Have a big bushy so it comes out a little bit further, so bring a bit of shape there. And just bring that line just up a touch, just there, to create a bit of forehead. Now we've got that, come down to the nose, well I'd say nose, the moustache. It's going to go into a moustache, chin beard, full beard. Going to break it into 3 sections. Now traditionally, like like the old school way you do it, you bring in your shape like so, you curve it across, come to your point, curve up and then do detail in the middle. Now that makes for a very suave, kind of sort of smooth moustache. Now this is a lumberjack, I don't want it being dead smooth. So what I want is going to bring this first line coming from the outside. So yeah, just putting that first line. I'm just going to make a slight little curved edge. I don't want to come into like a dead perfect point. I'm going to bring this back. Go this up similarly. Bring that up. Going to bring another line underneath, just like curving off it. So this is going to be the difference. Each one is going to curve off, and it's going to give it more shape. And they're going to be a bit uneven as well. So you've got one here, and the next one I'm going to make a bit wider, like so. Next one a bit closer, and this one's going to be a bit closer. So you see, it just makes a much more unkempt, sort of like rugged moustache. Moustache. Sorry my voice is a bit off today. I had me baby recently, little baby boy. I love him, but I am knackered. Getting used to the sleepless tired nights takes a little while to get used to. But it's all worth it. So doing the same thing here, brought a line there, curve around the outside, bring in a line, bring in one next to it, just a little bit wider. This one pretty close. And that one just curving. And this one goes underneath, so you just like kind of tuck it underneath it. I'm just going to go down to the mouth. Now you're not going to really see too much of the top lip because it's under the moustache. But the bottom lip you are going to see. So we're going to bring in a curve. Go this back to about here. So you want it to come slightly further back than what the nostril is. And not too much, just a little bit. And then underneath it, we're going to create the chin bit. The chin bard. So you basically want to make this kind of curve down like a circle, and then come to a point at the bottom, and curve that up. In the center, bring a line down. And then the same kind of principle, we're going to bring up and just separate this into sections. Main difference is you want this to kind of curve around with the shape of it. So when you go this way, you want it to slightly curve more like that way. And when we go this way, curve it more this way. Like so. And once we've got that, we can just strengthen this line up here, just to create this cheekbone. So you can clearly see where that is. And then we can bring in this beard. Now how big do you want the beard is really up to you. I'd like to make mine quite big. So I'm going to bring this down here, curve it. And if you imagine like getting a line curving down here, that's where you want this line to kind of sort of come to its sort of point. I don't like mine to point too much, but each to their own. And then we're going to curve this, just following this line and joining up over here. Now you want this line to cut up into the circle because you're going to want the ear to sit past the beard and the hat to sit over the top. Now we've done that, we need to work out where this line is going to come across here. Now the easiest way to do it is originally just to work out where your cheekbone is. So the cheekbone is going to come in this line, curving into the face. So if you imagine curve here to like the nostril, and that will give you that line. And then what you want to do is create an archway just around it. So, well, archway, sorry, just like a line around it. So you're going to come here, curve down around the cheekbone. So you see this is the cheekbone line, so we're curving around it and coming back. And then from here, this is going to kind of come down, and I want this to join up here. So you got this kind of like shape kind of forming in the face. Off the nose, just here, just creating a bit of that cheek. So see, I'm just bringing in structure to the face, you know, just to make it a bit more sort of like manly, you know, it's not smooth, you know, it's rough, it's rugged, you know, it's like lumberjack. So now we've got that, we can start building in the shape around it. So you want us to come from behind it, come just a little bit lower than this is, so we can clearly see this kind of line here. I'm going to curve this in here. And now you can just have it sort of joining completely up here. I like to have this little kind of gap just to the sides. So just there and just there. So just create a little curve there and a little curve that side. The rest will be beard. So we're going to bring this line down. And just how we've done the moustache and this bit, bring it up section by section. Making some wider, some shorter. Like so. You know, if you want, what you can do is just quickly just flicking some lines like this, just curving back across to give you an idea of how the beard's going to change shape. So we want it to curve. We don't want to keep doing all lines like this because it just look weird. So just keep breaking it up into segments. So some big, some small. So look, big segment, small segment, small segment, big segment, small, big, small, small. So no major pattern to it, just like, you know, switching up the sizes. So you can really see it's starting to form now. We're going to have a bit of stubble here, which will just be like some random dots. But now we've done that, we get the bottom of the earlobe. So it's just going to go here. You're not going to get too much here because I want this hat to cover it. It's going to be like the old kind of beanie. So we're going to curve that line across to here. Going a bit further than the forehead. Coming up. Curve this line back. Down. Going behind the ear. And on top. Just bring this line. Just coming around and a bit further around that circle shape because that's where his head would be. We want it to sit around it, not as his head. So we have that. That brings in the hat. You know, you can have a little bit of hair just coming out if you want, just like here and there. So we're just going to bring in a few little kind of random lines, just coming along the same kind of shape. Like so. And a bit of sunset just here, so I'm going to have like a bit of an orange light coming from that. Now you can always have like a pipe coming out his mouth if you want, you know, I quite like the pipe. Or, you know, cigarette, or you can just leave it. And I'm going to come down from this neck bit. So where the earlobe is, kind of halfway between it, just bring this line down. And I'm going to have, like, you know, sort of like the scarf bit going into his shirt. Now it's only going to go into the collar. I'm going to make this a bit unkempt, so it's not going to be a straight line. I want it a bit rugged. It's going to come up here, flick this down. So come to a line, flick down with a curve, bring that up. Little line there, bring that down, little button. And the other collar. Now the hat, I'm just going to flick in some lines just to show the material. Like so. Now we've done that, I'm going to grab me pens and I'm going to plot in my line work. So just going over everything we've just done now. So really just matter just going over all that line work. I'm probably going to create a few different line weights, so once I've done this I'm really going to go back and thicken up a few lines to make certain bits stand out a bit more. Bringing up that beard. Drawing this kind of make me want to grow a beard like this. Should I grow a beard like this? Can't make my mind up. Then again, I've spent years growing my beard to get the way it is, so if I did, I'd be losing years of development of it. Goes up. So I said the eyebrows are making quite unkempt, so I'm just gonna do my lines but flick them in kind of, so a bit not too messy, but Just there's a bit of shape to them. Top of that hat. Curve that around. Put a little bit in the air. Just a little squiggly line detail. Scarf detailing. Now we've done that, I'm just going to thicken up a few lines just to bring it out. We'll add some eyelashes as well. Just around the moustache. Under the beard. I'll do under the beard, but it's kind of pointless, so I'm probably going to black out the bottom part anyway, so it doesn't make too much difference to the bottom of the beard. Now I'm going to thicken up these part of the eyes, just here and there. Not too crazy, but enough to make them stand out. Bottom part of the shirt. And just around the hat. And we'll probably will do the hat black, so it's not going to make too much difference to the hat. But it's just if you decide a different colour, you're going to want the line, otherwise it'll just make it stand out different to the rest. Now we've done that, let's get a rubber. Rub out the pencil work, except for on the hat, because I forgot to do the lines for that. Now you can take your time, be more careful with this. I'm just quickly plotting these in. Now you can use pencils, paints, watercolours, any medium you want for this. Now I'm gonna be using my markers as I normally do, because it's just quick and easy to show you guys. But just whatever you see me do with the markers, if you use something else, just apply it to that. You know, I know it's sometimes a bit easier said than done, but you know, it is fairly simple just to switch up what you see me doing with one medium to another one. So I'm going to start off just putting in my black and greys. Then we're going to colour, so just certain areas like this moustache. Just put a bit of black just across the bottom, across the top. Grab my grey. Now this is just Winsor Newton brush markers. You know, pretty much get them anywhere online. The brush marker is very good, and I'm just bringing this grey just across that black, like so. And then just bring out the light grey, so you can see I'm just making this little highlight just through the moustache, like so. Now what I've done now, I'm going to do the exact same, going through the beard. This is why I said it was kind of pointless me sticking up the line at the bottom. But if you're doing your beard brown, then it's worth having that line. You know, I might add a little bit of brown to it, you know, maybe like dark brown. If you're going like light brown, it does make a big difference. Yeah, well, give me dark grey. Now I've put aside the side motion for like wide areas like this. If you flick down, you're going to get a lot of flick marks and it won't come out smooth. It's the same thing if you're using like watercolours or brushes. You know, build up that side to side motion. You see I'm doing this and it's starting to come out very smooth. That's exactly what you want. Now certain papers will be a bit more durable than others. You know, this is just sea white Brighton. You know, it's just like a basic sort of tan paper book. You know, there's nothing major about it. But it's quite thick and it is a bit resilient. You know, sometimes markers can bleed through. Like if you're using just basic standard paper, you know, it's not going to hold up long with markers and watercolours. You know, so always make sure you're trying to use the right kind of paper for what you're doing. You know, if you're doing watercolour, get yourself some watercolour paper. You know, if you're using markers, get something like this, or, you know, Bristol board, or, you know, some thick paper. You can get a marker paper, but I'm not really a fan of it. You know, it's like bleed proof, but it's quite thin. You know, and I'm not really a fan of like thin, flimsy paper. It just doesn't really work for me, to be honest. So you can see that's the beard done. I'm just going to put the shadows in certain areas. I'm going to start off light and go dark. So just bit under the nose. You're going to want a shadow there. Bring this bit above. Just part of the nose. You're going to want a shadow here. This part coming down here. You're going to want a shadow there. Under the eye lobe, that section, shadow, shadow. You want to flick a shadow on this bit, but leave a little highlight in the middle. I tend to put just a little bit of shadow just at the bottom of this bit. Some shadow on this bit you can do. Just flicking a little bit come along this line. Remember, shadows do change depending on where you want your light source coming from. The light source kind of coming this way. If I had it from this way, the shadow would be very different. So don't kind of feel like this way is correct for everything, because it's not. Shadow just underneath the hat. In the ear, and just at the bottom of the earlobe. Press that lip bit, like so. You can have a little bit of flicking up here if you want, but it's not overly necessary. Now I've done that, I'm just going to slowly start darkening them, you know, in certain areas. Certain bits you want light, certain bits you want dark. It's got the nose, I want this dark, but I want to leave that little white rim just there so the nose is clearly separate from the moustache. This bit of nose I might leave quite light, but I'll have a look and I'll come back to it. And I want this part around the eye dark. So the bits you know you guaranteed want dark, do those first, and then look afterwards, and you kind of sometimes just suss them out if you're not too sure. We'll go darker with that, but that's just building it up for now, so I can show you guys. Put a little bit of shadow in that. Flick that out. In there. And the rim just under the hat. A little bit just flicking just here and there. Then just flick this into it. Now I tend to flick only with, like, you know, this kind of grey when I'm going to the lightest, and when I'm just adding bits here and there. But for, like I said, for smooth transition, side to side is always going to be your best bet. One clear bit I'm definitely missing, just and that bit of cheek. Now come in with the dark. Mainly underneath the eye. Like so. A bit of shadow just underneath the bottom of the eye. A little bit just underneath the top eyelid. Let's go and do his pupil. Black with darker. So yeah, black circle, little circle to the side, a little bit of bottom. And I'm just going to get my grey. As I said, I probably will add a little bit of colour when I add some colour to this. There we go. And did it. Get my black. His eyebrows black. Like so. And then for the hat, I'm just going to flick in some black. Going to come in strong from the sides and go light as it gets towards the centre. Just going to leave a little gap just between the line here, just so you can clearly see that change in the hat shape. And similarly just on the bottom, just a little hint of that highlight. There we go. I want the hat to be quite dark, so I'm bringing this very far across. And I won't be leaving a white highlight. So I'll go down to my lighter grey. The reason I didn't leave the highlight is because of the kind of material. You know, it's like a woolly kind of hat, it wouldn't leave a shine. You know, I mean, you can do if you want. You know, I know some people do, but a certain hint of like realism with the materials I think just pays off. Just going to put in a little bit of shadow just underneath this collar bit where it overlaps. So the shadow from that, shadow from there. A little lighter grey because I don't want this to be mixed in with the beard, but just a shadow from where the beard drops. A little bit on the back of the scarf, where it is down there. A little flick just where the bend is. Go from this corner. Then just go in the light grey and just flick that out. Like so. There we got that. It's going to add a bit of sort of colour. So I'm just going to add a bit of flesh tone. Let's see how these flesh tones come as out. One's a bit too light. Just want to show. Yeah, that's quite nice. You don't see it too much on this paper, but it just makes a clear difference between the paper and the skin tone. It's ever so subtle, but you'll notice it as I put it in there. So we got that bit. I think I might add some brown just through the moustache and the beard. Now you can leave a white highlight and just like blend out your browns, but I'm quite liking the idea of this one being quite strong. Like so. Blue, a bit of blue in those eyes. And it's going to make this bit like a pattern work through here. So I'm just going one red, one thick red, one thin red. One red, thick red, one thin red, one thick red, one thin red, one thick, one red. Just one thick, one thin. This one's just a pro marker, which is good for just solid areas. And you've probably seen me use my blender trick I use every once in a while. The blue here and this scarf is brilliant. For that button. Orange. Just going to create this orange kind of sun bit in the back. Flick lines the same distance apart, just curving around it. Like so. I'm just going to put this orange line just all the way around him. Right. Sorry about that, I cut off my last little bit. But as you can see, I just done the orange on the outside. And I just added like a little 13, little axe on there, lumberjack underneath. I would normally do these bits with a thinner liner, but I've just been a bit rushed. But yeah, that is how you draw a lumberjack, Neo Traditional style. Now you can add like roses, you know, woodland sort of stuff, you know, whatever you want around it. You know, but that's like the basic principle. I hope that helps. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, yada yada yada. Check out my other videos. I'm the Broken Puppet, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.